Good morning and welcome to the Forex Daily Update, brought to you by Pepperstone on Monday the 16th of July 2018. I'm Darren Sinden and you can follow me throughout the day on Twitter by using @ds_Pepperstone. Right, let's take a look at overnight changes and price moves to be aware of. And as it's a Monday, we're looking at things from a weekly perspective. First of all, let's take a look at dollar yen. The yen slipping down by around 1.48% over the last week against the US currency, trading back at 112.48. And well, given that we were looking at the possibility of a yen rally back through 110, that's quite a bit of a turnaround that we've seen over those last 7 days. Another big mover over the last week, dollar Mexico, the Mexican peso adding a further 1.66% against the US currency. All of this, of course, coming on the back of Mexican presidential elections. AMLO won't take up his post until the 1st of December, but already people can sense that there may be a change in the climate there in Mexico. And lastly, the Korean won against the US dollar. The won has fallen by around 1.77% over the last week, trading now at 11.32.04 shortly before we recorded the video. Obviously, the fate of the Korean won very much tied up with the trade war and North Korea-US relations, and so ongoing issues there affecting the Korean currency. Bitcoin and Ether, we haven't looked at cryptocurrencies for a while. They didn't fare so well last week. Bitcoin down by 4.79%, Ether down by 5.21% over the week. However, both of those cryptocurrencies off to a more promising start in early trade in Asia this morning. Right then, what's on the calendar? Events that may move the markets today. First of all, we've already had some key data out of China, including industrial production and GDP for Q2, and we'll look at those in a bit more detail momentarily. To come at 8 o'clock GMT, we will have trade balance data out of Italy for May, but that's really just the preamble to the main release, which comes at 9 AM GMT in the shape of trade balance data for May out of the wider Eurozone. We have a decent break then until 12:30, and we cross over the Atlantic for the New York Fed, I should say, Empire State Manufacturing Index for July, and that'll be accompanied by retail sales for June, probably the pick of the day's data. That's both excluding and including the sale of autos, and that's month-on-month data for June. We'll also have some Canadian portfolio investment data out at 12:30, that's for the month of May, and then at 1400 US business inventories for the month of May as well, and then another significant break until 22:45 when we get CPI inflation, consumer price index data out of New Zealand for the second quarter in 2018. Right then, breaking news and comment that's caught my eye this morning and over the weekend. First of all, China's Q2 GDP fell to 6.7%. Data reveals that was in line with forecasts, but it was also the slowest growth seen in the country since 2016. And underlining the slowdown, industrial production in May was also easier at 6% versus a forecast of 6.5% and a prior read in April of plus 6.8%. So slightly disappointing numbers there from China on balance. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, exports rose by a healthy 11.47% in June. However, that figure was well below forecasts of growth of 17.53% and May's 12.47% growth. So whilst on the face of it that number looks good, perhaps it's not as good as it should have been. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin both arrive in Helsinki for their summit today. At the same time, European and Chinese diplomats will meet for trade talks in Beijing, with the Chinese envoys looking to pressure the EU into taking action against the United States for its trade sanctions and tariffs. Okay then, food for thought, something to take away with you into the trading day and beyond, and we'll stay on the subject of trade. We've talked a lot about how the trade war could escalate over the course of the last couple of months or so, but in fact there's been a significant escalation already, and these two graphics from the New York Times and Flowing Data show us exactly how that trade war has escalated. So on the 22nd of January this year, we had this very small amount of goods subject to trade tariffs, solar panels and washing machine components. That has grown dramatically now to these two monsters here. Products coming into the US highlighted in the blue shapes, and those from the US going abroad in the multicolored shapes here, and you can see the growth is quite staggering. And of course that's ongoing because this data is only till June 15th, and we've already seen some further tariffs being introduced since then. Please take a moment to read the risk warning. Trading CFDs and foreign exchange on margin can be a risky business. If you're in any doubt about those risks or the suitability of leverage products for yourself, then please do contact your Pepperstone account representative. Have a good day. Thank you for your time.